to help them save and be able to put away. We also understand that life happens.
Got
So we're looking at having, in addition to that, if you will, a controlled credit component whether they can access emergency funds.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
And because stuff happens.
Right. Welcome to another episode of the Practical Wealth Show. And today I have a special guest, Mr. J.R. Jones. And we're going to talk about, he's creating an exciting, I guess, fintech company, banking business. So I'm going to let him kind of explain because he told me in that fast, I was like, all right, I'm going to screw it up. So I'm going to let him talk about it. But Mr. Jones, welcome to the Practical Wealth Show. Can you tell our listeners a little about your first of all, your journey, because you've been in the financial space and done, I'm looking at your resume and done a lot of really cool things. So give us a 2-minute, 1-minute background of what brought you to this point, and then we want to talk about what you're doing and what your vision of what you're doing is.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brother May, and appreciate you allowing me to come on your show, man. This is a great thing. Information and knowledge in the financial arena is always great for our people in the banking piece and the financial aspects as a whole. Helping folks become wealthy is what we all need to be after. Again, to your audience, my name is J.R. Jones. Been in financial arena for quite a while, if you will. Degree in banking and finance economics. Have worked for banks and spent 17 years with American Express Investment Financial Services, IDS Financial Services, and a CFP by trade. So, as we begin to look at the landscape of financial and having been a financial certified financial planner, we begin to look at the landscape of financials several years ago, about 20 years ago, actually. We began to have a CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution, here in Mississippi, called Small Business Capital Fund, where we did non-traditional lending and putting money into the hand of those small businesses that could not get bank loans. So as we begin to look at that landscape and times begin to change, we start to look at how can we begin to look at where do we need to be in the future and what aspect do we need to be in to continue to help our small business, but not only that, helping their employees, which is one of the biggest problems with a lot of small business. When employees get in financial trouble, so does that business because they have a tendency to do things they don't need to do. They have a tendency to not show up at work. They got bills problems, and small business really have to deal with that. So, about 5 years ago, we began to look at the financial industry as the fintech market began to take off. We're here before COVID. And how can we develop a product that would extend beyond what we're currently doing with just the lending aspect of it? That shift from, okay, where I'm at to how do I need to grow in the future, looking at technology, where is the next aspect is going to be to keep us surviving so we can continue to do what we do, which is basically financial literacy and putting monies into those communities, those underserved and unbanked communities that have not had those opportunities. So we created the Accountable Card, which is a financial service company under the fintech model, being able to give our customers that can't get bank account what we call low cost, no credit check banking.
Okay.
In a nutshell.
Mm-hmm. No cost, no or low cost. So tell me how. All right. So I want to go into. There's so many things there, right? Because what fascinates me is because I've seen people create apps and create software, and I'm like, how do you do that? Like, how do you take this idea and then, because I have no tech, nothing, I can, and so it doesn't even dawn on me how that does. So that's fascinating to me of, okay, I see a problem here and let's create a technical thing to do it. So walk me through that, because I find that absolutely fascinating, because you got to see it first in your mind and then you got to make it happen, right? And so that's very cool, first of all. So and most people don't have that vision to make stuff like that happen. And so tell me about that, and then I want to dig into who you're serving, because I used to work in that marketplace a little bit too. And so the so how did you where did you have people that you helped that you said, okay, look, here's what I want to do. I want you to, can we build a software around this idea? How does that happen? You had connections in that field. How did that happen
Yeah.
in that field?
Well, Curtis, we took what we like to think was the smart route.
Okay.
Because just what you're saying, we started off with the rough route. We start off with talking to software developers and coding people who know how to code software, and then we're a development company saying, yeah, okay, I got the idea. Here's what it's going to cost. Here's what you're going to do, and they start beginning to develop that software around
Mm-hmm.
the financial aspect. Well, we want to have we want to have a banking piece, but we don't want to be a bank because that requires a lot more money and a lot of longevity and a lot more compliance and everything else that goes
Yeah.
with it.
Yep.
So how do we plug into a market where we can move faster to still assist the individuals that we're trying to serve? Now, knowingly that you do a little research and wait a minute, this got to be out there somewhere. So where can I grab it at? Where can I get at? So one of the things that over the last, I guess, 10 plus years, um, software developers, companies have done is that pretty much what you said, get a bunch of folks in the room and they just develop a lot of software. They
Right.
develop a lot of stuff and they develop a lot of software that they call off the shelf. And so they develop things, with APIs such they can plug into other software. We keep buffering to hope we're not losing too much of this. So, we've gone out and said, okay, who can we connect with who pretty much have the software developed,
Yeah.
we can license and then plug and play. So I'll get this third party over here, I get this guy over here, and I get this guy over here, and so let's plug and play and bring to the market what we need. That's a that's a less that's a less expensive way to do it. It's a faster way to do it, and you don't carry all the risk of development. Okay. Now it's still good to have someone around you that knows a little bit about technology,
Yeah.
because when you start plugging APIs, you want to make sure it all work together. And you still, even with that development, you have to be engaged because you got to go say, well, no, that ain't really what I want. Here's what I want. Here's what I like to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what we did to that. And again, it's been about a 5-year journey. But like you said, knowing, having an idea of where you want to be, and then also knowing the fact that, okay, in the middle of the stream, technology is going so fast, you might have
Yeah.
to switch.
Yeah.
Just yesterday, I was on a call with the team, processing team, and a management team, saying, hey, you know, this is now out there. There's companies who just will help you lend money to your customer service using this technology, and so that's what we've done. We rather than trying to go de novo, as we say, from brand new
Right.
development,
Right.
let's figure what's out there and let's figure what's working. Kind of like Apple, if you will. They like to tell everybody they develop everything, but they bought a bunch of companies who develop a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I love, listen, buying is the new starting, right? So that's interesting because there's stuff out there, and sometimes there are companies out there, they don't know how to market, they don't know how to reach their customers, but they may have a good thing, but you got the artist that just knows how to do the thing but don't know how to build a business doing the thing, right?
Yes.
And so I wanted to bring that out because, guys, the world is full of people, ideas, and money, right? And a good idea does not care who has it.
Right.
And right. And so you've got to have a vision. And what I've always learned, JR, is that activity produces knowledge. So if you get in and start moving,
Yes.
you'll you have to do it to figure out,
Yeah.
okay, well, this don't work, this is what I need. And so you can't be afraid to start, right? You're gonna start ugly, but you got to start.
There
Right.
you go. There you go.
And that's cool. So now I'm looking at your background in the financial space, right?
Mhm.
And you as a CFP and with American Express, the people we're serving with them is not the same people that you're serving now. So I'm curious as to how you saw the gap, because we see it, we live here, right?
Right.
But
Right.
what, okay, hey, look, this is underserved, I see an opportunity here. And how did you see that? And then how does it, I always tell people money follows value, right? So how is this creating value for those people, the small business owners, micro loans, and also for the employees are the under, because most people are. I'm going to a little bit of a rant. Hold on. There's a question there. I want you to think about that. But because my background, I used to teach, I do it from time to time. I just got busy. But here in Philly, I would do financial literacy classes, and, I was certified in this city group thing. It was all propaganda for the banks, but it was a lot of unbanked people.
Yeah.
And I thought there was an opportunity back when I was a kid. If y'all are from Philly, there was a bank called PSFS. And so it was a Philadelphia Savings Fund Society, right? And we were in elementary school. They would come and you get this little passbook bank accounts, and you'd bring in your $2,
Yeah.
and they would stamp your thing. And I think that's missing. Like you got to start the people getting used to banking, because we have too many people living in the underground, going to check cashing places,
Yes.
and wasting all this money getting checks cashed, and like no ID and all that kind of stuff. So I get that. That's why I was like, okay, this is fascinating.
Yes.
And so is that kind of what you saw, like, and okay, look, how can we solve this problem, and where's the opportunity there?
Curtis, absolutely. I did the same thing when I was, with the financial services, IDS Financial Services in Ameriprise,
Mm-hmm.
because I would do seminars,
Mm-hmm.
at no cost, just to educate people.
Right.
So I do financial planning seminars and how it works and everything else, and two markets of folks who really couldn't at the time afford the services, didn't have nothing to invest, but they needed to know the knowledge.
Yes.
And then you begin to recognize that, wow, that's a lot of people out there who not even engage in the banking services and the other financial services, but also go and check cashing services. Okay.
Yep.
Now, also, I had a partnership where we owned in a couple of small towns a grocery stores, right?
Mm-hmm.
And man, I used to watch people come in there and cash checks, and you're talking 1 to 2 to 3% of that check. And during tax season times, it didn't seem to matter to them that they was paying 10, 15, 20, 30, $40 to cash a check.
Yep.
And I'm going, wow, that's a lot of money of their income that they're not recognizing going out. But they had no other way of getting cash and doing things, because they couldn't get a bank account because of some credit way back somewhere when. So we recognize that market, and the same thing as we was looking at small businesses. A lot of the employees were still, and even today's from still writing checks, don't have direct deposit, and so that's our key target is companies where individuals still are writing checks to people because of, especially Hispanic market, African American market, some of the Asian markets, where that they can't get a checking account for whatever reason.
Right.
So that's a huge market. Now, unwind all that was with looking at Federal Reserve statistics and data as it relates to the financial market, when they began to report that some 30 to 60 million people in America that's unbanked and underbanked. That's a pretty large sum there. And so then you look at that. Yes.
Sorry, something in the background go off. It's where's the coming from? Okay,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Yeah. So you're looking at that and say, that's still an unserved market out there that need to be touched. And one of the good and key things about this financial services market in the financial arena, Curtis, I say to people that every day somebody turn 18, somebody have a job, somebody are looking for a financial service in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
So this is not an industry that has a termination date, if you will. This is not, I bought a product and this product is only good for so long and next week it's going to be obsolete. We're going to be dealing with whether in crypto, whether we're using different exchanges, we're going to be just like we always have, exchanging goods and services through some medium forever.
Right. I mean, currency is wherever the currency is, money's got to move from one party to another.
Right.
Okay.
And that's what we want to be in and be about, but also be financially inclusive. Inclusivity is what's needed still to help grow the economy, grow the community by bringing larger number of people into the economy. It's just amazing the statistics out there that McKinley done back here years ago about had certain groups of people have been brought into the economy from a financial aspect, billions of dollars would have flowed into the American economy. Could have done a whole lot more than we have done in helping people right now.
Because the money's there, and I can see that, because I used to tell people, so listen, because, and so in our business, Jared, we call them wealth transfers. Most people transfer, they're trying to chase investments, but they give most of your money away with fees, with how they've been trained by the institutions to handle money. And so I tell people, if you want to win, let's stop losing.
Yes.
First. Okay. And let's stop giving away half your check. Stop going to check cashing places. Stop. Don't get me started playing the numbers, all that, and all of the little bad habits that keep you broke, keep you poor. If you're poor, it keeps you poor. If you're middle income, it keeps you broke, right?
Keep you broke.
Because you're making money, but if you make 50, you spend 50, you're still broke. And so it's the habits of that. So walk me through maybe a couple of the biz you work with from an employee standpoint, and your vision of, I always call it, what you want to be able to do is help people move up the prosperity ladder, right? And how did you see the service starting to do that? I have an idea, but I want you to say it.
Yeah. Well, the account card program is designed to first of all get people what we call banked. Okay, you got to have somewhere you need to have somewhere where you can deposit your money and manage it and transfer it like you need to do, without having cash. Is really expensive to use. It really is. People don't realize that, but it really is. So our idea is, okay, let's get you into
why is it expensive? Explain that.
Okay. Well, pretty much what you said. One, cash is easily lost. Two, we have a tendency to pay more for stuff when we got sitting in our hands. We have a tendency to go ahead and spend it when you say cash. When you're cashing, just like the idea of cashing a check. We're talking about cash. Cash and check. You get charged for cashing that check. Okay. You get charged. Your actual for things that you end up buying. Especially nowadays. I see we buffering again. And we have a tendency when money's in our pocket. We have no delayed gratification when money's in our pocket. If we got it in there, we see something, we're gonna go ahead and buy it, and we're gonna end up buying something we don't need. Rather than looking at say, well, maybe I need this later time, and then you recognize later time you don't buy it anyway because you didn't need it anyway. Right. So cash has a tendency to evade us when we got it in our hands, and we transfer it to individuals. And other times is that a lot of folks use a lot of cash. You go out and buy something, you pay cash for it, it don't work. You've lost a receipt. You don't know where it's at. You have no record of it. Right. So over time, cash becomes very expensive to use versus having a card, a debit card, where you can always find your record. You always get a record of it, and you use it only in certain places where you really need to use it. Okay. Cool. Outside of fact, now you can't even use cash to buy anything else because everything is online. That makes it very expensive. Listen, there's a war on cash. Okay. So which I feel like having some of it, but there's a war on cash. But I get because I used to tell, like, when I'll talk to young people or the people in the market you're talking about, listen, you got to get an account, because I used to see, so my family, I grew up in the supermarket business. That was a business my family was in. So I saw all that. My parents had a supermarket in the 70s. And we were in the bar business, right? So same market, right? In North Philly, right? And so I remember I had this guy, he would come in and he would spend his check and, get cash and then come in. I said, listen, you need to budget how much you're going to spend here. You can't come here and run the bar. And, that was good for me, but we own that business, but I'm still in the financial space and I'm a financial educator. You were killing me, so I've always had this yin and yang, not really yin and yang, because I wanted them to win. And I remember having this person. I said, listen, I knew the manager of the bank a few blocks down the street. And I said, listen, go there. Her name was Diane. I said, go to Diane, tell her I sent you, because he was kind of illiterate. And I said, listen, so set up this account and this account. So fortunately he worked, he had ID. See, so you could do that.
right?
Right.
Wasn't in a
Right.
check system. So this is where I'm getting it. But what happened was I said, look, so when you get direct deposit, and then I want you to save 20% of it, right? So he
Yeah.
did that. And we talked about later, and he was still doing it like years later, and he was much better off financially just on what I call basic block and tackling. Get it out your hand,
Absolutely.
budget
Absolutely.
for that. I had guys that look, I'm a budget. They said, well, they go, and I made him budget his weed money, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. There you go.
I thought, Harvey, you got to do it. Okay, I
You
ain't
gotta do
here
it.
to
Hey,
make
there you
judgment,
go.
but don't you got a budget or the bar money. It's like, all right, here's your entertainment allotment, but you got other bills to pay. So you can't get paid on Friday and be broke on Monday, and you got other stuff that you got to do. And that is
Absolutely.
those bad habits are a lot of people that are unbanked just don't have a discipline to I'm gonna put, they ain't gonna do the envelope system, right?
No.
Or
That's not gonna work. It's
yeah,
too easy to go and get it when you need to.
yeah,
You need some barriers to entry, man. You said two things. One, bad habits and discipline, and that's what kills you financially. No discipline, and you create bad habits, and the habits create itself by doing it. But like we start this conversation with the fact that with the accountable card program, we get you there. You do direct deposit, and while you got your direct deposit, you can pay bills from your account all on your phone because that's the only thing that everybody uses right now. Everything is on the phone. So at the same time, you could have a sub account where you move every time you get paid $10. Start off slow, start off easy, because we know that you create a habit of savings. You start looking at money over there. When you start at 10, it won't be long before you say, okay, let me creep this up.
so you can move, because that's what I was thinking. You can move money from that account into some type of savings account.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, now we're talking,
Yeah.
right?
That's
Because
that's
I would hear like Kathy Hughes, not to call people out, talking about, oh, you can build wealth, and it was like just a debit card. And my challenge with that is that the only thing you could do is spend,
yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I had a
Yeah.
problem with that because you're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
building wealth in the Black community if you just give me money on a debit card so I can go transfer my money to other people just by paying bills. There's got to be a mechanism where you can say, okay, look, Israel, the richest man in Babylon. Part of all I earn
I
is
like
mine
that
to
book.
keep, right? And you just, okay, I'm gonna, I teach people 15%. So if you make $100, you put 15 in and spend the other 85, right? And
Right.
if you can automate it, boom,
Yeah.
that's the key to wealth. It's not willpower. It's got to be systematic. Come on, you talking good. That's so that's exciting. Okay, so now we're working. We set my employee staff up. They get the card. They get banked. I can now, as the owner, do direct deposit,
Yes.
and then you could help instill in them good money habits where they're not just getting their money and blowing it. Is that that's your vision of what this will do?
Absolutely, man. Bringing
Okay.
everybody into the ecosystem that makes a difference to build a village, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just said, the owner have a stake in making sure the employees able to get to work. Because when they use financial problems, hey, my car broke down, I couldn't make it in. These things happen. My refrigerator broke down. So we not only want to have that aspect of it to help them save and be able to put away, we also understand that life happens.
Got it.
So we're looking at having, in addition to that, if you will, a controlled credit component where they can access emergency funds.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
And because stuff happens.
Right.
Along the way of building that, then you also have to protect what you build, and that comes in the form of being able to have some very low cost lending components that they can hit emergency credit, but with a cap on. Look, you got to get this paid off out of your check
Right.
too.
Right.
This got to be
Right.
paid.
Right.
Now you building credit. Okay, now you're building credit and you're building financial life, and you at the same time you still
Because you're
teach
showing
financial leadership.
responsibility because you're getting somebody loans you, because your credit score is like, did somebody loan you money? Did you pay them back? Right.
Yes,
It's
yes,
basically I used to do mortgages. I would say your credit report is a written verification of your integrity. Okay, is really what it is. And let me ask you this. So the credit component, Jared, this is fascinating, is was I going to say? Because if they don't have the credit component you're talking about, they're going to go for payday loans. They're going to go for all this really expensive money.
Really expensive money. Super expensive money. And you never get ahead with that money. You never get ahead. Every time you get a paycheck, you got to go get half of it up to the guy, and before you get through the next week, you're going back to him and say advance payday loans and all this other stuff.
Right. And
So
sure,
now
most of your money is, because I always tell people debt, consumer debt especially, is we define it, JR, as debt is the obligation where the only way you have to pay for it is with money you've not yet earned, right?
Yes.
So you're using future earnings as collateral,
yes.
right? Yes. And expensive money.
Expensive money. Yeah.
And so it's like, all right, we're gonna get your money organized. If stuff happens, and to keep you from getting really bad money, we're taking a check every week and you got to pay them first. And now you didn't have enough money in the first place, but now you really don't have the money because now you're giving away the money paying for a decision you made 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And so hopefully that'll get you out of making bad decisions.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely puts you in a better position than like we said, going into payday lending and paying 200-300% for money. That's going to take you forever. And you just never get ahead. So, those are aspects of doing that. And the long-term goal with the company as a whole, just like I shared with you, we are a C corporation, Delaware corporation. So we're looking to raise capital. But the long-term goal of it to build this global company, actually aspect of it, international global company, and create a small cap venture capital firm to be able to now help small businesses in the communities to grow in the community. That we only have venture capital firms for those high flying tech ideas, and we still, because like we said, we came out as a CDFI lending to small business. There's still a lot of growth small business out there that can be taken to the next level with all the proper tools put in place. Just not the money, but all the proper tools put in place. So that's the long-term vision of the company, to be a global financial institution that's inclusive across the borders and helping build communities through financial literacy and other credit opportunities and financial welfare.
I love that. So JR, before I let you go, I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. So is there anything that I should have asked you that I didn't ask you that you want to tell my listeners about?
Well, yes. I mean, we're looking for opportunities to be in the community, but we're looking for opportunities to build what we call affiliated groups, large organizational groups, companies with individuals who still writing paychecks and got a lot of employees who still need bank accounts, so that we can come in and offer our services and help them build and grow. And when I say affiliated groups, for instance, we've designed our product and our company such that we can do revenue share with nonprofit organizations with a large group. For instance, I've worked with the Mississippi Nursing Association to be able to give them scholarships back, by them participating in our program, by nurses and nurses and organizations. I'm a veteran, so I'm huge on the veteran. I want to be able to give back to the veteran associations, and we're looking at some point talk with them nationally and say, hey, look, you become a customer of ours, you become a card holder, you open your bank account, do your direct deposit with us, and savings. And then we're going to create a revenue share for that organization to make sure that we give back to that particular organization, be it the veterans and the nursing or a large church group organization, be able to put money back to the community. That's going to be one of our big focus as we move forward, and looking at how do we continue to grow nationally, because we have the opportunity just not on banking, Curtis. Because we knew we just wanted to be in the community, so we also created the opportunity where the individuals can go through a Green Dot Corporation network. Individuals can go into Kroger, CVS, Walmart, and make deposit into their account. So we actually have 24-hour banking from that aspect of it. So you not only have
You have
direct
the
deposit.
24-hour banking now, so they could do
Yes,
that. Okay.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. You can not only do ACH and direct deposit, you have the ability to go into all these other non-traditional places, make deposit into your account because a lot of folks do get them cash, and go out and get a job and get cash and won't know what to do with it, rather than just stacking it somewhere and getting it stolen or taken. Go deposit into your account and begin to manage your financial life.
I like that. As we probably talk offline, I'm thinking of that. So as you're listening to this, guy, so would this help you? Do you have some members of your family? Are you at a church affinity program like a frat, or I used to speak to a couple of nonprofits where I did financial literacy. So, and I always wanted to. It was funny because this is what I wanted to do. Like I was trying to get credit unions to do this. So because I had a lot of guys, I was talking to some ex-offenders or just people that had issues and they couldn't get a
Yes,
bank account because they were in the check system.
that was our target. Yes, that's
You
our
know what I
target.
mean? And as because I'm talking about, I'm like having a flashback, but I needed them to be able to work and put their money somewhere so they could build good habits and be able to, get out of the I'm going to the check cash place. I can't make money. I can't do direct deposit
Right.
world. Right. And so, all right, we have to talk because now I'm thinking about it. This,
Yes.
is stuff like that. So that's what I want y'all to hear. I wanted to hear this because I think that I wanted y'all to hear this because it's a great idea. It's a business already. So it's not an idea. They're in business. Okay. So, oh yeah. So now tell them how to find you, how to find out more about what you're doing, your website, how can they, follow you, find out what you're doing or get involved if this intrigues them.
Well, absolutely. Just go to our website,
Mhm.
www.accountablecard.com. That's ACCOUNTABLECARD.com. So it's just like it sounds, accountablecard.com. It has all the information on there. It has all the disclosure information on there. It has all, the bells and whistles of financial institution welfare on there so that they can look and see what we're doing and send a number. And of course, anyone want to talk with me directly, they can give me a call, 601-937-0629. We love to have companies and Curtis, like you mentioned, of institutions that are doing financial literacy. We look for good partnerships, good companies that we can work with and grow and expand and see how we can connect the dot. One of the things that I have other partnerships with other companies that I work with. I've determined that we got to stop thinking in silos and thinking in isolation from the standpoint I got to be the only one. There's a huge market out there. I love to collaborate with anyone who want to collaborate for the good of cause.
Right.
Will. And for where we can plug in and help you out, and we can all make some money together, so to speak, or just do some good things together. We're looking for those good relationships also.
I love it. All right, guys. So listen, check out the site. He gave you his contact number. We'll put all this stuff in the show notes and make sure that let's push this out there. And going into the new year, we've got to get the unbanked banked.
Yes, there you go. Got to get the unbanked bank.
Got to get the unbanked bank. That's our mission. And then you can begin to, as I'm hearing it, because you got to start with the basics. You got to call it blocking and tackling, and then once you develop the proper habits, I'm big on. I'm actually, JR, I'm working on a book on, or a mini course on the richest man in Babylon. Just taking where it's not about any financial products. It's just here are principles. There are principles to the acquisition of wealth. And
yes.
In the book, he says, if you have not learned these, because he started out in the book, if at where the richest man in Babylon's rich, but they all went to school together. Why are you so much richer than us? He says, if you haven't learned the principles, the acquisition of wealth since we were youth, by now is either because you failed to learn them,
Yes.
the laws, or you do not observe them.
Yes.
Okay. And
Yes.
so it's one of the two. It ain't
And
the white
usually both.
man. It ain't none of that stuff. Okay. You don't know the game, and you got to
Yeah.
learn the game. You got to get in the game somewhere. And so that's fantastic. So JR, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your
Oh, absolutely.
knowledge and your opportunity out there with my listeners.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Love the opportunity, and definitely love to you and I continue our discourse as we move down the road and begin to collaborate on some things together.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, go out there as we record this. This is like one of my last shows before the new year. So, so have a great and prosperous 2024. So, some might hate time stamping this, but that's all right. I'm time stamping it. And go out there and make it a great day, great year. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening to the Practical Wealth Show. If you like us, give us a thumbs up and watch the next video as it comes up if you're watching this on YouTube.